Alright guys, welcome back to the channel once again, and in this video we're going to be talking about the FastAPI. So we've been working a lot on the front end side and looking at the logic on the front end and JavaScript, HTML, all those things. But now since this video, like into this series, we're going to be looking at the server side as well. So we're going to be looking at all the implementation logic, architecture, everything on the server side, how to implement, like how to write a code for the small scale application, large scale application, and how to make an application on the large scale, like on the high level. So all those kind of things we're going to be looking at. And also FastAPI is a framework like Django and Flask, and it's very popular right now because it's easy to implement. You can just write few lines of code and start writing the business logic. You don't have to write like so many files before doing the actual implementation. It doesn't give you big boilerplate as well. You just need to create one main.py file, and after that you just need to write few lines of code. Like Node.js, we were doing like we were just installing the Express, and after that app.listen 4000 or 5000, whatever your port gonna be for running listening the server. So same kind of things over here as well. So rest of the things you have to implement by yourself. So it's not gonna give you any boilerplate pre-designed. So you have to create it by yourself, and whatever the functionality or feature you want to include from the FastAPI, you can include, and you start writing a business logic. So it's gonna be pretty cool, and we're gonna be learning a lot into those things, because whatever the things we were looking at the Node.js and Nest.js side, the same thing we're gonna be looking over here, like WebSocket, queues, and all those things. And also Python is a kind of multi-threaded language, so we're gonna be including that feature as well, like how we can run 2 jobs and 3 jobs without including cron jobs and all. So all those things also we're gonna, because I used to do that in Django a lot, because if you have to parallelly run 2 execution or 3 executions, so you can do it easily. So same kind of threading technique we're gonna be using over here. So it's Python, so you can do that. And so there's a very big documentation over here for FastAPI, so we can go through one by one, and we're gonna be doing all those things in the upcoming videos. So this is just an introductory video, so we're gonna be seeing like how we can install the FastAPI and how we can run the local server into our system. So before using any Python framework, you have to enable the virtual environment into your system, because Python is a kind of big, and whatever the modules library you are installing, so it doesn't gonna give you like package.json whenever you do npm install into the Node.js side, but over here you need requirement.txt whenever you are installing any module or library. So if you do it inside a virtual env, like whenever you are creating an application, so you have to do it in virtual env. With that, in that venv, like in the virtual env, you have to install all the libraries. That when you do pip requirement.txt, so it's going to include all those libraries inside that, and later on when you're pushing your code to the deployment server, like the production or anywhere, so you just need to run that requirement.txt file, and after that it's going to be installing all the library for your running server. Okay, so that's kind of thing. So if you don't have like virtual env created, so let's go to the installation part first. So there is a documentation written for that, like how you can install the virtual env. So you can do that, and after that you can install the FastAPI. So virtual environment, so you can go over here and you can see everything, how to create the virtual environment. All those commands are included over here, so you can just directly install it and run it in your local system. So I already haven't created one virtual env, so if I show you, so I can just run the command to activate that one. So you see this one, I already deactivated it, but now I can just run one command, source venv and bin activate. So it's going to be activated. So you see venv activated. Now I have to go into my like the FastAPI application. So I just go into that code Python, and I will run FastAPI dev.py. Okay, so it's gonna be started. So you see it's running on the local host 8000 server, but you can also modify the port name if you want. So let me take you into the code, and then we're gonna go through the documentation after that. So you see this is the main py, and all those APIs I have written over here. So I didn't have to write like much code for this one. I just initialized the FastAPI over here, and I imported it first. Okay, then after that I initialize it, and then the app. So it's the same kind of thing like we were using into the Express, like app equals to const app equals to Express, and after that you can just use your app.get, app.post, and all those things. So same kind of over here. So you have to include the @. So it's kind of decorator in the Python, so you can just include that and it will work for you. So you have this API and everything. And also there's a one thing, you don't have to go to the Postman to check your APIs. There's a Swagger, like Swagger is the same kind of thing. You can access your APIs, whatever the APIs you are adding over here, so it's automatically going to be added into your Swagger, and then over there you can post and check your tester APIs easily. So that's kind of also one thing. It's pretty cool. So by default it gives you the feature. So let me run my local host. So localhost 8000. So you see it's printing the hello world over here, and also I show you this is my hello world. And if I go to the docs, so let me just do /docs. So you see the Fast API, the Swagger is running over here. So you will find all the APIs which I have already created, and these are all the APIs over here. So I've been trying and testing all those things, but it works. How to pass the body and do the validation and all those things. So we're going to be looking all those things easy, step by step. So you don't have to write a lot of code for that. It's very easy, pretty straightforward. Once you're going to start using it, you're going to love it. So you will leave the Node.js. I believe so. So I was also kind of getting eager to use this one, but we already have a code base in Node.js, so I cannot switch from there directly. And also it's kind of pretty good for using the small scale application. Let's suppose you are making a POC or something. So for that kind of application, it's pretty good. So you don't have, and it's also pretty fast though. I've been using I used into 2 or 3 applications so far, and pretty fast. Communicate with database, very good. Let's go to the documentation part. So tutorial user guide, if you go over here, so it has everything is step by step written. How you have to pass the parameter, how you have to get the data from request body, or the query params, like your query strings, or the params you pass into the APIs, like /.id or something if you are passing in the API. So how can you get that? Also you can create the decorators for validation. If all the course policy and everything comes with it, okay. And if you go down, so you can find all those error handling, also you can get it, and course middlewares, how you can enable the middleware, security. Also inside the security you find all those authentication and everything is you can enable over here, like JWT token and all those things. And static files is given, if you want to run your HTML files or JavaScript files, so those kind of things you can run over here. Relational databases, how you can connect the databases with Fast API, those are things over here, and many more, streaming part as well. If you have to stream your APIs to the front end, so you can do that as easily into the Fast API. Let's suppose your API takes time, there's too much data has to be transferred on the front end. So whether you are sending the response in a one shot, you can stream it. So it will take you 10%, 20%, 30%, you upload the images or videos on the server. So those kind of things you can do that. It's pretty good. We're gonna be looking all those things step by step, but this is just for introduction. One more thing over here, in the Python side, any framework if you're using, so mostly you can use it like monolith application. Okay, it's pretty easy to use for the monolith. It gives you multiple features like clickjacking, cross request forgery, a CSRF token, and all those things already enabled into that one. You just need to initialize and it will start working for those, and it will handle it automatically. Okay, so those kind of things, and rest of the things you can go through with that. And if you want to learn by yourself, you can go through it. Happy if you need any help. I'm going to be creating the videos. So thank you so much guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video with a fast coding video on the Fast API.